All right, thank you so much for joining. This meeting is for our LJ Realty team. First of all, Matrix is going away. So in December, in less than a month, we will not have access to Matrix. Matrix was one of the main software that we're using to check availability for the properties, right? Getting to seeing if there's any special instructions uh, for any property for the listing agent that had put in. So we will not have access to Stratus. Is moving to a better software. It's called Matrix, and Matrix has been being used throughout the whole United States with other, just like how we have our LIBOR board, they have other boards. So Stratus was one of the old ones, and we were one of those counties that did not move to Matrix since the launch of One Key. So that is going to be happening soon. Things will be just better. It'll be a better looking software. There'll be more benefits that we're going to go through in later in the presentation. Um, but the main deadlines that you're going to pay attention to is one right now for next couple of meetings. We're just going to go over, what changes will be coming. Every week we'll be presenting those to you guys. We will present that, hey, which logins that you guys need. For from November 18th until December 2nd, we will have only read-only access to Matrix. But after December 3rd, they're going to launch Matrix and we will have full access to it. It is part of our MLS, so Matrix will be in, your Stratus will be gone. Okay, One Key is doing, their webinars online, which we send you guys links for, but just keep an eye on it. But every Wednesday meeting that we have, we will go through them as well, just to make sure that you guys know that, hey, Matrix is going away, and, Matrix is coming in and is being replaced um, from our Stratus. Okay. Again, and later in the presentation, I will go through that. So let's get started with our meeting here, guys. So the interest rates are around 6.72 according to Freddie Mac, but for your Mortgage News Daily, they're hovering 7.04 right now. If it's a FHA, they're hovering around 6.57. Okay, so these are your interest rates. And hey, good morning, Rupinder. Good morning, Hassan. So we will be talking about Stratus being removed from, yeah, Stratus is going to be gone. So we're going to be talking about that in a few minutes. For all the realtors is being replaced with a new software called Matrix. So if you guys have any questions on that, just let me know. Um, but let's go through our affordability, right? So this is two separate files that I'm dealing with here. I'm going to show you. One is that this person came to our office with this, annual income of $56,000. Down payment was only $10,000 and monthly debt of 150. He was looking to buy a condo or co-op. So we say, hey, you can go find a condo or co-op for $262,000, which is really a limited budget for him. But he added a family member and bought his income with $30,000 higher from that co-signer, and now the annual income for that household was 86,000. Everything else remains the same. Now he can go ahead and find a condo or co-op for $446,000. Much more realistic number uh, in Queens when we're looking for affordability here. Okay. Initially, he thought he was going to buy it by himself for 262, couldn't find anything. Then he went ahead and found a cosigner and found a property around $390,000, which is within his budget. Okay. Next one was that this family here was trying to find a property in Nassau County, and their annual income around $125,000. Down payment they want to put down $50,000, and monthly debt around 150 for them as well. The property taxes were a little bit higher. It's a cozy small house, and they found a property for around $580,000. Again, within their price range. Okay. So if you want to have full access to this calculator, it is available for you on ljmortgageteam.com. Just on the homepage, no logins are needed. Just click on affordability calculator and play around with that pricing or affordability for your client. Okay. We will be adding a new calculator on LJ Mortgage just for the mortgage itself, nothing to do with the income, but that will be coming soon on the same website. Okay. So, President election was yesterday, right? So we heard the news this morning that Trump had won the electric votes. So congrats to him. So even if you like him, if you don't like him, we just need to pay attention to the policies that he's offering right now and how does it affect us as realtors, right? There are many issues, many different policy, but we just want to focus on how does he have what his point of view is for the home ownership. Okay. So one, again, I'm not promoting him, demoting him. There are people who love him, hate him, doesn't matter. If he's going to be the president, we just got to focus on, hey, what does he have to bring to us as a realtor or as for homeowners? So one, it is that tax incentives for home buyers. He plans to promote home ownership, give tax incentives. So that is a good thing for us. He wants to reboost basically our housing supply. Let's see how well he does that, but he plans to do that as well, right? So he wants to ease some laws where, basically construction can be built, it can lower the cost. But we know as a president, there's so much that one person can do. There's other Congress involved as well, right? He wants to utilize federal land for housing development, maybe to bigger companies and offer them lower or ultra low taxes. So, maybe he'll change some zonings, and it's just a matter of time. We'll see if that is affected in New York or not. Okay. And he wants to restore your state and local tax, which is SALT. That deduction that we have for $10,000 cap, he wants to remove that. So let's see once he's in the office if these changes will come and help the homeowners or not. Okay. Next in the news here was that a typical home buyer is a little bit older now, a little bit richer than in the past years. Since COVID, we have seen this scenario that the first-time home buyers are having a difficult time purchasing their house. Why is that? When it was COVID, the interest rates were super low, but the bidding wars were really, really on the high end. Now there's less bidding wars, but the interest rates are on the higher end. So when a client goes to Mr. Hassan as a loan officer and he said, hey, you qualify for $1 million, but your monthly payment is going to be $7,000, $8,000. And he says, no, hold up. I know I can afford it, but I don't feel comfortable making this payment right now. Right? So there will always be dilemmas like that. So some stats for you guys that are first-time home buyers stats fell to 24%. That's down from 32% just from last year. Okay. And this is another stat that the median household income for a first-time homebuyer is around $97,000. If your client is making $97,000, please have come to our office regarding the mortgages and see which loan programs we can actually fit them in. Okay, there are plenty of loan programs where they can put down 3%, 5%, and we can help them save maybe five or $7,000 on closing costs. So just have them come to the office and see if they do actually qualify or not. Okay, then you can see that the housing market is split into two groups. That first is your first-time home buyers. They're struggling to enter the market. Again, why is that? Because of the high interest rates. Okay. So, and for your current home buyers, if they have money to pay all cash, they will do that. Or if they're going with a higher down payment, or if they're going with a conventional loan compared to FHA, we get phone calls all the time. Hey, I have two offers, same offer price, but one is FHA, one is conventional. And then the seller has to decide which one he or she wants to go with, right? So first-time home buyers face high home prices, high mortgage rates, right, and limited inventory. Those three things put together makes our job as realtors a really a tough job because we're either telling them, hey, here's a beautiful house for you, but let's look at the price, let's look at our monthly payment, and let's look at other properties in the same area, right? There's not much. Even though if it's increasing, it's still not much compared to previous years. Okay. So some of you guys are working with couples, married couples, they want to buy a house. That's big ups to them. but there are even single ladies, single men who are trying to purchase a house, even if they're just getting a solid job offer, right? We have programs for them as well. So if you have a scenario where your client is asking you, hey, you know, I am, I have my income around maybe $60,000, but I want to add my daughter's income with it, and she just started college, sorry, just finished college and received a job offer. We can use that. Okay. So we want to support the families. There are plenty of loan programs that allows them to put down 100% gifts or, maybe 50% of gifts, different loan programs. So there's enough options when it comes to down payment and gifts for those family members as well. Okay. Now we want to go through an experience for a first-time home buyer. This person has shared her story, so I want to share that with you guys, and let's learn at least a thing or two from her. So she mentioned that like 43% of the home buyers, she's not working with a real estate agent. If I'm trying to buy a house, I don't need a realtor right now, right? I have websites like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. Why they're so popular? But people are doing like window shopping, right? You know how we say, hey, you want to go buy a Gucci purse or something or Gucci dress, you're not going to purchase it right away. Maybe you want to have that window shopping experience. And these guys, these home buyers are doing exactly that. Some of them have more knowledge than our realtors because they're keeping a better eye on the inventory in the area that they want to be in, right? So, like you said, 43% of the home buyers begin their search online without any agent and just start looking for price ranges. Hey, here's my budget. I see a Zillow calculator. Let me just see what I qualify for. And from there, just guesstimate what will be the area that I want to be in and look at the houses, right? They have a better idea. So we don't want that to happen. We want you to have a better idea than your clients. If you're serving South Ozen Park, Elmont, Hicksville, anywhere in those areas that you're serving, you need to know the inventory inside out, right? You need to pay attention to it on daily basis, not weekly or monthly, but on daily basis. Okay. She also researched the same website that we've been mentioning every week for you guys, Elto's Research. She's keeping an eye on it, on the home prices and the inventory trends, right? So you guys can do the same exact thing. And she said, before I started working with an agent, I just wanted to do a search and I'm starting on Zillow and other websites. Okay. When she needed a realtor, she obviously got one, but she's like, I just wanted to make sure that I was comfortable with the inventory and the price range that she was seeing. And when you're sending her the same properties or properties before she sees on Zillow, it makes a big difference to her. Okay. Then for the mortgages, she said she went with her cousin, who's a loan officer, right? What we say, she said, hey, before you guys start, yelling at me, I did shop around. And she was still comfortable with her cousin being the loan officer, right? That's perfectly fine. It's her choice. She did the research. So if we would have a problem if she went to her cousin and she did not shop around with anyone else, so we want to encourage your clients to like, hey, if you have a cousin, brother, sister in the mortgage, great, work with them, but also find out other options. We're not saying that that cousin or brother is bad. We're just saying maybe their lender is bad or doesn't have enough loan options, right? There's so much control a loan officer has, but the brokerage itself or the lenders that they're working with, right, that will make a big difference. Either she saves or she doesn't save. Okay. Next is when we were putting in the offer, she said, hey, my offers were rejected in the previous and then it got accepted. We go through that all the time. So when we say, hey, which tools should be using when we're putting in an offer, one is your RPR, right? RPR is part of your MLS. That should be your number one concern. Hey, let me just type in the address and see what I see in the evaluation for RPR. Then I have geodata. I want to put the same address in there and see what price range I see there. Maybe I can check your Zillow and Zillow's estimates, right? They're not terrible at the same time. They're not great either, but it gives you another point of view. And then maybe you want to send us the address. I see, hey, Carvin, I'll owe you one. I know you sent me an address last night. I'm going to send that to you over after the meeting. But send us the addresses. We have trained Sukman to do it as well, and we will send you a PDF with all the comps done for you. So before you put in an offer, please ask us for comps. You do your research so you put in a solid offer for your client. Okay? When you are putting in an offer, look at the listing. As a realtor, you can see how many days this listing has been active, right? And question it. If the price is right for that property, they will have plenty of offers. If it's listed on the higher end, you determine that. If it is listed on the higher end, find out why, right? And how does that asking price compare to similar house? You're doing the research, right? Majority of the buyers, when they like a house, right, and the property is listed for $600,000, they will not tell you what's the price that they want to pay. They will ask you as a realtor, hey, Mr. Ali, what do you think of this price? Hey, Mr. Abbas, what do you think? What do you think I should put in the offer price for? Right? You have to be the one who's telling them, guiding them, and always have a reason behind your price. If it's you want to put a low offer, hey, the property is really beat up. I know you need a lot of, it needs a lot of work. On the other hand, let's put it a little bit higher because I see that, hey, the property is fully renovated and we have seen other properties before this, and now you can make your judgment call. Okay? And how badly do you want this house? If there's going to be a bidding war, that means you actually want this house badly, right? And if you are trying to negotiate with a seller or with a buyer, I went through this many times, and the buyer said, "Hey, let me think about it overnight." And the next morning, the next morning, the a couple of hours pass by, and it's by noon. I have to call them and follow up. That means they don't really want that property that badly, right? If they were really interested in that, probably 9 a.m., I'll get that call. Yes, let's put in an offer. So then you can determine how bad your client actually wants the property or not. Okay. Next is that she mentioned regarding wire fraud. I just want to keep it very real with you guys that wire fraud is very real. And we don't want any of the clients, of your clients, even future clients, to go through this, where they lose hundreds of thousands of dollars just by making one bad move. We're mentioning this meeting after meeting because it's very, very important. We don't want any of our agents to go through this. So if your client receives any emails towards the closing, they should never reply back to that. They should pick up the phone call, or pick up their phone and call their attorney and say, hey, I received this email to wire. Did you send it? Or if I do have to send a wire, majority of the transactions that we're doing, majority of them will ask you for a certified check. Okay? So if it's a wire, that should be a red flag. Put a stop on this file and make sure you call your attorney. Okay? So when your client is house hunting, right, in today's digital age, photos are super, super important, guys. I can't stress this enough that our listing agents wants to put a property on the market. They're asking for X amount of commission to the seller, and then they're taking photos on their own from their phone. I understand the fact that the phones have a lot of capability. It can take really nice photos, but you're not a photographer. There's no way you're gonna have the same feeling, or the your seller is gonna have the same feelings about you when you're telling them, "Hey, I'm gonna have a professional person come in and take photos," and then they see you taking photos of the house, right? Makes a big, big difference. If you guys have a floor plan from the seller, you wanna upload that on MLS as well, right? You wanna put as much detailed information about that property on MLS, so this way you get less phone calls regarding this or that, right? The worst thing you can do is just put one line there, right? That's just to discourage everyone that you're really not that motivated, right? You have tools like ChatGPT, guys. A lot of people are using it. I'm using it on daily basis. I'm using more ChatGPT than Google itself, right? Maybe you guys can do the same. Anytime you have anything to write, just write it up and say, hey, make it better, right? Same thing for the properties. You put up a description, write it in your own way, and it can make it better for you. You can use different tones as you want. Okay? So please use all these digital tools that you have available and make your listings better. Okay? Next, this article was really interesting to me because it shows us, hey, what buyers and sellers want from their real estate agents. That's us. That's all of us, right? What do they really want from us? What we telling them is usually, hey, I'm gonna negotiate the price for you. I'm gonna do this for you, that for you. So let's look at the survey that was being done by NAR and Housing Wire, and let's see what it came up to. So what buyers want is that they want their agent to help them with the following. 49% of them, they want you to find the right home. Okay, that is the main one, finding the right home. Some of the agent says, hey, they have the same listings on Zillow and same listings on us, on our end. What is the difference? The difference is presentation. The difference is who sends it to them quicker. If I'm just paying attention to Zillow and I'm seeing all the listings, and Trisha, you're my agent, and I'm not seeing any links from you, right? There's going to be a big difference because I'm seeing the inventory before you. At least you're not even sending me anything. On the other hand, Trisha, if you're sending me on a regular basis, on daily basis, you're sending me new property, or every other day, I'm going to judge you and say, hey, this realtor is really active. She's sending me properties left and right, or whatever time that, whenever it's available. But finding the right home is their main concern. Only 14% of them say, hey, negotiating terms. When they're, different terms, it could be anything to do with the house itself, any repairs or anything like that that you guys see, any appliances that's going to stay or go. 11% of them say, hey, negotiating price, right? We're saying we have all these tools, we have all that, but the buyers already have a good idea about the neighborhood, about the price range and everything. You're just putting it on paper and you're showing them the comps, but their main concern is still finding them the right home. Okay? You need help with the paperwork. As a realtor, you can help them with the offer and everything, but who's doing the rest of the paperwork? It's the attorneys. Okay? Determining comps, only 7% of them say, hey, we're interested in that. Again, because they have full knowledge of that. They definitely do not want to talk to us as realtors regarding their affordability or arranging finances, right? We can tell them, hey, come to LJ, go to your Chase, go to your TD Bank, and see different, but they know better. They say, hey, we got that part. But as a realtor, your job is to find them the right home, right? You'll be surprised. Sometimes you send them a property that is 3 months old. Maybe they haven't looked at that property yet, right? Or maybe it was just available last night and they haven't seen it yet. You have to make it your job that, hey, I'm a realtor. If I have clients, if I have leads in my system, in my KV Core, in my CRM, I want to make sure that I can send them the properties because that's what they're looking for me to do. That's my main job. That's my main task when it comes to being a realtor, finding them the right home. Okay. If we did not have the tools, then I would say, hey, it's really difficult to find it. We have all the tools, we just got to use them. Okay. So how about the sellers? What do the sellers want help with from their real estate agents? So majority of them, they want the sellers help seller market the home to potential buyers. Can you market this property itself? So if it's a for sale by owner, we know they don't have all the tools and they don't have all the leverage that we do as realtors. They want to basically price the home competitively. We have the tools again, right? Hey, if I'm going to a listing presentation, I am not going without the comps, right? I believe he's not here yet, but Vishal and I, we went to a for sale by owner. We gave him a full comps, and it was very close to what he was thinking, and that's what we want, right? We want to keep it very realistic. Not saying, hey, give me the listing and I'll give you $100,000 over this market price. How are you going to do that? What's so special about your property compared to any other properties out there, right? So you have to price it competitively. And we have, give you an example for Sheldon, his property is listed for below market. And I told him he was going to get enough phone calls. And now I believe they have an offer accepted within a 2 weeks time frame and now going under contract or so, right? So you have to price it right. Next is to help the seller sell the home within the specific time frame. If they're telling you that, hey, I want to be out of this state or this city or this county within next 3 months, then keep it realistic. Can you actually market it and actually sell it within that time frame? Right? We have to do the research. Again, if you're going to put it on the high end, right, above asking price, above the asking market price, you're not able to sell that in their time frame. Okay? To give you an example, for Paul's listing that's in Brooklyn, was sitting on the market for about almost a year, and now when it's selling, is going under contract, all cash deal. You need to know their time frame. If it's listed on the higher end and the seller says, I don't care how long it takes for me to sell this property, I just want this price, then you can wait it out. If your client is saying, no, I need to sell it in X amount of months or X amount of weeks and everything, then you have to, price it accordingly. Okay. Maybe they want help with 15% of them want help with seller find ways to fix up homes to sell it for more, right? And we say this at every presentation. When you're going to your presentation for the listing and you're going from room to room, you're making notes, right? You're writing down things for whatever he's mentioning. Hey, the boiler is, 5 years old. The roof I was recently replaced and all that. Great, Mr. Seller, I see a leak right here, or I see signs of some, water damage on this sheetrock on this corner here. Maybe we should fix that before we list it. We don't want anybody downgrading your property just because of that. That might cost you $500 to fix, and it will bring in a lot more than that $500 when it comes to your offers. Okay? 13% of them want you to find a house for them as well, right? So you can do that too. You can get two deals out of those clients. And only 6% of them help with negotiating and dealing with buyers. Because as a seller, you already went through a seller's breakdown, right? What I'm going to take home. So I already have a set number. I'm not going anything below that. So you as a realtor, you should know that number from them too. So, and help them out. When it says help with the closing, only 3%. As long as if you're the listing agent, your job is to find a buyer, well qualified buyer that can actually close a deal, right? Helping with the closing, the attorneys are there. So again, just to summarize, if you're a seller, if you're a buyer's agent, your job is to find them the right property. And if you're a listing agent, then it's your job to market the property and find a solid buyer for your client. Okay. So how could you do that? What are some methods that you can use if you're a listing agent? 86% of them will use MLS, right? Your multiple listing service goes a long way. Again, if you just list it on the market, you just put it on the market, how come you start getting 5 or 10 phone calls on regular basis, on daily basis, just from MLS? Right? We're paying a fee to be part of that MLS, so you need to take advantage of that. Putting up yard signs, right? It's a given that you will get more phone calls if the yard sign is there. If your approach to the seller should be, hey, do you want to sell this house for the maximum price? Do you want to get the maximum eyeballs? Right? If yes, let me put up a sign outside. Right? They say, no, I don't want my neighbors to know. The neighbors already know because it's on Zillow, it's everywhere. Right? So you have to tell the sellers there are benefits of putting up a yard sign. End of the day, he will win or she will win in that situation. Right? Once they sell that house, who cares if the buyer or from the next door neighbor actually know that you sold the house or not? They're gonna know anyways because you're not living there anymore. Okay? Open houses. Open houses goes a long way, guys. I know the listing agents are hosting open houses, but not every agent. So if you do not have your own time to actually host the open house, ask for help. We have a separate forum for that. You guys can agree on different things there. But if you're not able to host open houses, you're missing out a lot on those opportunities. Okay? Again, Realtor.com, Zillow.com, all those 49% of them will be listed. So you as a listing agent, when you're putting on Stratus, soon it will be called Matrix. When you put a listing on those, it will automatically send it to Zillow and Realtor.com. It's just a checkbox there or drop down menu. Do you want to list it on other online websites? Just click on yes. Okay. So you want to do it through third party, you want to do it to your own website, you want to do it on your real estate company website and social media as well. You want to take advantage of all these, not just one thing. I have seen going back to open houses, I have seen where people, a listing agent would say, hey, I did an open house for 2 hours, only one person showed up. And that discourages them that, hey, I don't know if that is actually the right thing to do. Trust me, it is the right thing to do, guys. Those 2 hours, you do not know when you're going to get that opportunity of person coming in and putting in an offer. Okay. All right. Next, guys, it was in the news that your real estate agent's commissions are holding steady. But anytime you have a property value over $1 million, look at the chart here. Any property that has a value of $1 million, those commissions are coming down, right? It's just a fact. And we are seeing these stats accordingly here too. If the property is valued less than $500,000, then the commissions are still steady. They're still up there. If it's, between 500,000 to $1 million, it's also steady. Anything over $1 million. So from the point of this slide is that you guys can determine when you're asking for commission, right? We're not gonna say there's no set rule, there's no set commission, but you can determine that, hey, if it's over $1 million property, I need to ask for a little bit less because maybe another agent will ask for a little bit less as well. You don't want to go too low, but at the same time, have a different model. Some of our agents say, hey, I need to charge X amount, doesn't matter what the value is. I think that's a wrong approach. You should determine your different price ranges. Hey, if you were to buy $500,000 or less, I'm going to charge you this. If it's 5 to 1 million, I'm going to charge this. Over 1 million, I charge this. You can have your own rate sheet, and this way, as long as the buyer agrees, you guys can go under agreement with your buyer's present representation. Okay. Anybody wants to share their experience regarding commission? Has it gone down? Has no effect? Any opinion on this, guys? No? So if you're the listing agent, guys, just be competitive. If you're the buyer's agent, do the same. Just have different price ranges. Okay. So next year, the commissions may face even more downturn pressure just because of the resurging of bidding wars. We have bidding war with the prices. Now we can have bidding wars with agents as well. So, buyers are not going to be signing your agreement unless you bring value to them. They feel like you're actually professional, and the commission that you're going to ask, right? That will matter. If you ask for an outrageous percentage, they're gonna say, "Hey, you're very professional, but it's just that too of a high commission for me." So always put yourself in buyer's shoes and see what commission you would ask them. Okay. We went through this example last week. I got a few of the phone calls later on that particular week. So I just want to break it down one more time to you guys. If you have your agreement signed with your buyer for 2%, just to give you an example, and the seller is paying you guys 1%, you do not need to have any additional paperwork signed for that from the buyer side. You do need a confirmation that you are going to get paid 1% from the seller. So how do we do that? We have a form called confirmation of seller to pay buyer's broker. Confirmation of sellers to pay buyer's broker. You do not need to send it for e-signature because you do not have the seller's email. So you would have to send it to the listing agent. Hey, Mr. Listing Agent, I need you to sign this document and send it back to me so I can keep it on records. And I need it for my broker when we're creating the commission invoices. Okay? The buyer said I would pay you 2%. Now the seller said I'm paying you 1%. Mr. Buyer, good news. You only owe me 1% now because 1% is coming from the seller side. Okay? So the original total price. Yeah, Rupinder, go ahead. So I feel like we're gonna go through that with a lot of listing agents where they feel like what he's doing is what we're calling co-brokerage, right? We went through that in the previous. If he's sharing his commission, it will be the co-brokerage. So you need to call him and say, hey, the form that I'm sending you, it is not for you to sign. It clearly says it. The seller is gonna be paying me, right? It clearly says it there. If he wants, he can call LIBOR and find out the same information. If he were to share his commission, then I need the co-brokerage signed from him and not the seller. But now, since the seller is paying me with these new changes, seller has to sign it. And the confirmation of, go ahead, go ahead. Now, well, I just want to clarify that too. If he is going to get paid whatever percentage and he's going to give you, that makes it co-brokerage, that what we have. So send them the old form that we have, right? So say, hey, sign this form for me. So this way, if there's any problem, I know he owes us 1%. I don't care how he gets it, right? If he signs that co-brokerage. But end of the day, we will have you welcome. So end of the day, we will have listing agents not knowing these facts. I was dealing with one listing agent in Elmont for ourselves. We were trying to buy a commercial place in Elmont, and same thing, has no knowledge of these changes or very limited knowledge. So that's the reason we're educating you guys that hey, we know the rules. They can call LIBOR, they can call, NISAR and just find out, hey, whatever we're seeing, is it true or not? And the forms that we have, the confirmation of sellers to pay the buyer's broker. First of all, the title itself clearly says it. Hey, it's a confirmation of a seller paying buyer's broker. So there's no listing agent involved on that form. He can acknowledge it, but at the end of the day, it is the seller who's going to be paying from his pocket unless they're going with the old rules and the seller is willing to pay both sides, which is perfectly legal. That is legal to go with the old school and having a one commission percentage to the listing agent, and he splits that. As long as they're following that, the new rules basically says that we cannot force a seller. But if the seller is fine with it, then there's no problem. If they're going to be paying as a co-brokerage, I'm sending them a co-brokerage agreement. If they're going to pay me from the seller's pocket directly, then I'm going to send them a confirmation of sellers to pay the buyer's broker. Okay. So that's the reason we. Yeah, Mr. Ali. Yeah, go ahead. Hmm. Yep, I agree. Perfectly. Yeah, I think perfectly said, right? First, you're confirming the percentage, you're confirming how you're going to get paid, and then you're sending the right forms. If they're saying, "Hey, the seller is paying," and we hear that a lot too now, it's perfectly fine. Let me send you the seller's confirmation. Or if it's going to be co-brokerage, let me send you the co-brokerage agreement, right? Simply put, just ask, and I think the time frame, you want to do all of that before you go under contract. And you got to tell them too, hey, we don't have any on MLS, we don't see any percentages anymore. So as Mr. Ali said, it can't be just just word of mouth, like, hey, I'm going to pay you this. I need it in writing, right? And we need that before we go under contract. He or she can simply say, hey, I'm not paying you anything, even though we take a legal action, but we don't have anything in writing and no signatures, and it's going to be hard to fight that case. Okay? Anybody else wants to say anything regarding commission? Okay, so protect yourself, guys. It's so hard to go under contract, and we never like every penny that you guys get from there. We have agents who are on 100%, agents who are just joining in, everything. Every penny that you guys get, you guys is well deserved because I know how hard it is to actually go under contract. Where you can have million leads, but that one deal to close and everything, it's like such a headache. So everything that you guys make, you guys deserve it, so just make sure that you guys have it on paper. If you guys are sending in the offers and the listing agent is responding to all of that, all of a sudden when it comes to your commission, there's a you see lack of communication. You need to judge that listing agent. Hey, what is really going on, right? You're a professional, they're professional, and I need to get paid. Just as you got paid, I need to get paid. I could care less what you're getting paid. But if we agree on Rupinder, if they told you 2% initially, I would just went back and forth with them and ask for a little bit higher than 1%. But at least if you're satisfied with 1%, you're getting paid from the other side 1%, I'm fine with that too, right? But just make sure we have the right form signed. Okay. All right, guys. Next is that we want to prepare ourselves for next year, right? November is already in, December is going to be gone in no time. So next 2 months, it should be just preparing ourselves for January. If you actually want to close a deal in January, you literally needs to get started now, right? If you're gonna be thinking that, hey, I'm gonna get started in January, that is not gonna happen. You're not gonna be closing any deals in January. So you have to start preparing yourself now so you can be closing deals in January and February, right? So one is that keeping market trends. You guys attending these meetings, always thank you so much for that. Some of you guys watching this recorded later, thank you for that too. But you want to keep up to date with the market, all the different trends and different shifts that the home prices, where the home price is going. As a loan officer, we see I have all these conversations. Hey, I heard the interest rates came down, and then we tell them no, actually it went back up last week. Some of them will say, hey, the interest rates are really high. And they say, no, actually it came down last week. Right? You can have those type of conversation. We have our Harjeet MLO, loan officer, sending you guys screenshots of interest rates on daily basis. And we encourage that. He's not promoting anywhere else besides this. So keep an eye on those, right? Again, the market that you want to serve, you need to know the inventory on that market. If there's a new two family on the market, you need to know that before anybody else. Okay. Next is your digital. I lack on that too. There are some weeks where I'm really busy on TikTok, on Instagram, on all the social media, and then maybe 2 weeks pass by. I'm overwhelmed with all these four companies that we're running and everything, and I just don't have enough time on that. Again, I'm trying to make myself better. I hope you guys can do the same. Let's be a little bit more presentable on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and get our name out there, right? And if you want to promote yourself on Google, on Facebook, do so. Just remember on Facebook itself or Instagram, there's a lot of junk leads. These clients are not that ready. If you want to spend some money on it, maybe Zillow or Realtor.com might be a better option for yourself. Okay? Promote your websites as much as possible. They're brand new agents who have zero listings. They start sending properties from KV Core and it's going to their URL. So when the client is looking at that, one is they saying, hey, he has a professional, she has a professional website. Second, they have all the properties that I see on MLS. So maybe I want to work with this agent, right? You want to have these little things done so they can actually work with you guys, right? We close a deal and we don't get any feedback or through testimonials or Google review or Zillow review. We're really missing out on a lot because after the closing, a week goes by, a month goes by, 6 months goes by, that client forgets your name. That's how crazy the stats are, right? But that testimonial, that Google review is going to stay there for life. So make it a goal that, hey, when I'm about to do a closing, I want to make sure that I send them the link to my Zillow listings or Zillow profile page and or Realtor.com profile page and get a review out of it. Okay? You want to do the same thing for every closing that you do. And you want to expand your networks, right? As LJ, again, with limited time and everything, I'm not able to attend, local events, but you need to start coming up with that. I want to give big ups to Paul Prasad, right? He always attends these local communities if it's happening in, Liberty Avenue, in Woodhaven, or, in Queens Village. He's always attending those, always networking. And you see his photos online and everything, giving out his business cards and everything. You never know when you're going to get a lead out of that, right? You want to actually just keep it on a regular basis that, hey, I want to connect with local lenders, right? If I'm a realtor, I want to connect with local lenders. I definitely want to connect with contractors, inspectors, right? Anybody that has to do with home ownership, I want them to know that I'm a realtor and I want to get to know what the hell they do and how can we both benefit each other, right? No kickbacks, but we still can provide leads to each other so we can both grow. Okay. You want to leverage your systems, as we mentioned, that every system that we have, there's a reason for it. There's a and we're paying a lot of money for this as well. We just want you guys to use it so you guys can follow up with your clients efficiently, right? And we say, hey, when we go through our presentation or the trainings, some of you guys get the idea on then and you guys don't practice it, right? We need to know our tools. If you're not comfortable with KV Core and you guys want to use MLS, that's perfectly fine. Stratus, perfectly fine. Just use enough tools so this way you know that you can actually help out with your clients. Okay? And negotiation, guys. First negotiation is your commission now. Second negotiation is your price. So you need to have both skills there. So if you're talking to a buyer, right, you need to set a price or a percentage. I need to charge this if I'm selling you or if I'm going to find you a property for yourself, right? When it comes to the listing agent, as we just gave that example earlier, we want to make sure we have the negotiation skills and feel confident. Hey, I need to get paid this much, right? The Sheldon's offer that we were mentioning, there will be some offers where they do not even ask the listing agent. They just put in an offer. In the offer, it says it clearly, we're asking for X amount of percentage coming back to us, right? If the offer gets accepted, great. If not, then we renegotiate. But just getting comfortable with no's and getting comfortable with renegotiation, and that will make a big difference when it comes to production. Okay? You need to get comfortable asking buyers. You need to get comfortable with the listing agent. Okay? So you need to, and especially when it comes to pricing, price it right with all the tools that you have. Okay? And some of you guys want to do virtual meetings, that's perfectly fine. You want to do it, but when you're meeting them in person, it does make a big difference. When you're going through the whole presentation for your buyer's presentation in person compared to online, big, big difference. And you guys can judge that yourself. Okay. Again, the example that we gave earlier, that first-time home buyer, she was going on Elto's research on regular basis to see how's the market in that particular area that she wanted to be in, right? So you guys want to do the same. So anytime you're putting an offer, go to eltosresearch.com and just put in the area that you want to be in. In Freeport, it's a slight seller's advantage, right? Score of 41. But if they're going in Belrose is almost 60 score and is a strong seller's market. So there's a definitely your offers will not get accepted if you're trying to lowball in a seller's market. Okay, so do your research, help your clients with eltosresearch.com. Okay, we only have 5 minutes left, guys, but every week we will be reminding you guys that Stratus is going away. Stratus is going away. Matrix is the name to remember. So anytime you say, hey, I'm going to Stratus to look up this, you're going to be going to Matrix to look up that. Matrix is already an ongoing software that's being used by other boards already. Just that LIBOR was one of those where we were using Stratus for many, many years, and it has not been upgraded to Matrix until now. Okay, so what are the changes that we will see? One is that they're saying it's going to be an improved UI. So your user interface and experience is going to be much more cleaner, right? When we look at Stratus, it really does look old school, sometimes Windows 95, just by looking at it, right? So hopefully we'll see more color where it's more, it's easier on the eye on all the information that we need to see. Next is that robust client collaboration. So just like how we're using KV Core, some of our clients are using, our agents are using Collab, it's perfectly fine. We're going to be using another software, One Home, through that. So more details will be coming soon with that. And then you guys can decide, hey, do I want to use KV Core or do I want to use One Home to deal with my clients? Whatever is easier for you guys, that's what you're going to use, right? Next, mobile apps, right? Stratus doesn't have any. And if you want to go through Stratus on mobile, it's always a difficult time. So they're going to have a separate integration for the mobile, and we'll see how that is once it's actually launched. Okay. How about public records? We're going on RPR, Geodata, and all the other websites. They're promising that all that information is going to be built in into public records. Stratus does have public records, but it doesn't have all the information. They're promising we will have a lot more than what Stratus has to offer. So what will be transferred from Stratus to Matrix? Your account information, your role, your photo, your company logo, right? All the published listings and photos that you have, the history, all the statuses, all the price changes, all your contacts that if you added in Stratus will be moved. Your prospect matches if you save them, right? Your tax data, your user IDs, your MLS numbers, all of that will be transferred from Stratus to Matrix. So what's the time frame? It's coming soon, guys, right? So right now from November 18th until the 2nd, we will have a login for just to read only access to Matrix. But after December 3rd, they're officially going to launch your full access to Matrix, and it's going to retire the whole concept of Stratus. Okay. So if you want to learn more about this, you can go to cooperate.onekeyMLS.com/Stratus to Matrix. Okay. So we will be sharing all these slides with you guys later. So you guys can definitely check this website out. Okay. So guys, just focus on showings. Every week you have a database, you have your clients. Ask yourself how many showings I have done, how many showings do I need to get done in order to go under contract. If you're not under contract and you're a licensed realtor, it should bother you. It should bother to your extent that where you say, hey, let me review my database again. Let me see who actually wants to see a property and we want to show them the property. We went through the stats. 49% of the buyers are interested in one thing from realtors. Find me the right property. If you're a professional, a realtor, you have enough tools to show them those properties. Find them the right property. If you find the right property, everything else is secondary. You need a home inspector, you need this, you need that, everything. Find them the right property with the tools that you do have. Okay? If you want to go through the training videos, it is available on ljagent.com under training videos, and go through all the trainings. videos that if you guys need that. Okay. All right, guys. That will do it from my end. Any questions, concerns before we get going? All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys next time. You guys take care. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
और नहीं मैं जी जी सॉरी दोबारा कर रहा हूँ कि कॉल वापस sorry।